From the east side rising up through the concrete and the smoke. Everybody has a story in the language that it spoke. Before the world came in to change it, and the streets were still our own. Street songs living in the people made of flesh and blood and bone. I was born where the sirens sang a lullaby at night, where the murals on the walls were more than just a painted light. They were history and warning and a prayer all at once. Every face upon that wall had been someone else's front against the tide that kept on pushing all our people to the side, teaching us to be invisible and swallow all our pride. But pride is not the thing that disappears when you are told to hide. It goes underground and strengthens like a river running wide beneath the surface of the concrete and the asphalt and the stone of the barrio that made me in the place I still call home. I learned to read the street before I ever learned to read a book. Every alley had a lesson, every corner had a look that taught me more about survival than the classroom ever could. About the way the power moves through every neighborhood. Street songs written on the walls in colors red and brown, the prayers of every generation holding us all down. Street songs ringing out across the east side every night. Every word a testimony to the people and the fight for dignity and presence in a world that says we do not belong. Street songs keep us moving, keep us standing, keeping us strong. Everybody will praise in its own tongue. Street songs for the ancient and the songs for the young. From the east to the west side, where the lowriders ride. Street songs are the heartbeat of our unbroken pride. I have seen the prayers answered and I have seen them ignored. I have seen the body suffering, I have seen it restored by the hands of those who stayed when everyone else left, and rebuilt what had been broken with the will and with the breath of determination that no system could compress into submission or compliance or a permanent distress. We get out of people broken by the weight of what was done. We are carrying the future of our daughters and our sons into something worth the struggle, worth the years of holding on to a language and a culture and a pride that lingers long. After all the forces pushing us have come and gone away, street songs are the constant that we carry every day. Para cada madre que rezo en la noche sin dormir, for every father who worked double shifts and still could give something more than just survival to the children in his care. Street songs are the offering we place against the air, ringing out across the east side every night. Every word a testimony to the people and the fight for dignity and presence in a world that says we do not belong. Street songs keep us moving, keep us standing, keeping us strong. Everybody will praise in its own tongue. Street songs for the ancient and the psalms for the young. From the east to the west side, where the lowriders ride. Street songs are the heartbeat of our unbroken pride. Para todos los que rezan y los que ya no están, for the ones who held the barrio when no one else began, to see the value in the people and the streets they occupy. Street songs will be our witness long after we have died. Now the chrome shines in the evening and the boulevard is warm with the sound of old school rolling through before the coming storm of another generation taking hold of what we built without the shame we yet been given, without the inherited guilt of a people told that culture was a thing to be ashamed, that their language was inferior and the neighborhood was blamed for every problem, every headline, every crisis, every fear. Street songs are the answer that has always gotten clear. We are here and we are permanent and we are not ashamed. Every soul who walks these streets has every right to be reclaimed in the history of a people who refuse to disappear. Street songs are the evidence that we will always hear hasta el fin del barrio que no tiene fin en sí. Street songs, Eastside, forever, para siempre, el barrio, barrio, barrio.
Concrete jungle.
Yeah. Concrete jungle where I came up and I learned to stay alive. In a neighborhood that tested every instinct to survive. Before the sun was fully risen, I was out here on the block with the homies who were grinding while the square world watched the clock. From a distance that was comfortable and clean and organized. We were something to avoid a fear, but just to be despised. But the concrete jungle raised us with a different kind of truth. That the ones who judge the hardest never spent a day in proof of the life we had to navigate before we were 16. When the choices were already real and the consequences mean. Now you walk these blocks at midnight when the jungle had no light. Just the flicker of the lowrider and the sound of the night breathing in and out between the stucco and the wire of a neighborhood that burns with this unextinguished fire. Concrete jungle where the mangoes hang above the broken fence, where the grandmother sold tamales and the air is never tense. Between the people who belong here and the streets that are their own. Concrete jungle is the only home that I have ever known. Concrete jungle, Eastside, running through my veins. From the boulevard to the back streets, through the sun and through the rain. We survived and we are standing in the concrete and the steel. Concrete jungle is the realest thing I ever learned to feel. La selva de concreto where the brown pride never dies, where the low riders roll heavy underneath the golden skies. We came up in the concrete jungle and we never back down. Concrete jungle raised us right, and we are holding down the town. Every corner has a story, every alley has a name. Every wall a different history, every block a different claim. On the map of something sacred that the maps don't usually show. In the margins of the city where the regular folks don't go, unless they came from here themselves and know the codes and know the way to navigate the concrete jungle at the end of every day. When the grind has worn you down, but you were still required to stand for the people in the neighborhood and everything at hand. I have seen the concrete jungle with the ones who were not strong, not because they were not worthy, but because the night was long and the safety net was missing and the options were too few. When the system wasn't built to catch the ones it wasn't built for two. But the concrete jungle also raised the ones who came back home after years of being elsewhere, after years of being alone, and planted something in the body that grew against the odds. Concrete jungle is a testament to people who are God. Concrete jungle, Eastside, running through my veins. From the boulevard to the back streets, through the sun and through the rain. We survived and we are standing in the concrete and the steel. Concrete jungle is the realest thing I ever learned to feel. La selva de concreto where the brown pride never dies, where the low riders roll heavy underneath the golden skies. We came up in the concrete jungle and we never back down. Concrete jungle raised us right, and we are holding down the town. Now I ride through the concrete jungle with the windows open wide, with the old school on the system and the body with my stride, watching everything that changed and everything that stayed the same. The faces may be different, but the jungle plays the game the same way it has always been since before my mother came to these streets and found a future and gave me a family name. And the pride that comes attached to every Chicano on the block who refuses to be quiet and refuses to unlock the potential for erasure that the system keeps nearby for the people who keep rising underneath the watchful sky. Concrete jungle gave me everything that I could not buy in a world that sells a version of a life that is a lie. For the people born in margins of the empire or in the dream, concrete jungle is the truth behind the manufactured gleam. Siempre del Barrio sigue con su propio ritmo aquí. Concrete jungle running in my blood until I cease to be. Concrete jungle, Eastside, running through my veins. From the boulevard to the back streets, through the sun and through the rain. We survive and we are standing in the concrete and the steel. Concrete jungle is the realest thing I ever learned to feel. La selva de concreto where the brown pride never dies, where the low riders roll heavy underneath the golden skies. We came up in the concrete jungle and we never back down. Concrete jungle raised us right, and we are holding down the town. Concrete jungle, Eastside, la selva de concreto. We hold it down forever. Brown pride in the concrete, never backing down. La bandera de mi gente flies above the Barrio street in the colors of a culture that no power can defeat. From the brown hills of the east side to the ocean in the west. La bandera de mi gente, hanging proud above the rest. I carry something heavier than gold and heavier than stone. The identity of people who refuse to be alone. In the margins of a history that tried to leave us out. La Bandera is the answer to the question and the doubt about whether we belong here in this land we always knew. Before the borders were invented and the maps were painted new by the hands that drew the lines across the continent and said that the people of this barrio was something to be bled of their culture and their language and their claim upon the earth. But La Bandera stayed above us, giving measure to our worth. From the day I understood what it was flying for and why. Every color in the bandera was a piece of open sky that belonged to those who carried the tradition in their hands through the decades and the pressure of 1,000 shifting sands. La bandera de mi raza is a promise and a prayer for the generations coming who will find a fly. La bandera de mi gente never falls and never fades. We have carried it through darkness, through the fire and the blaze of a world that tried to cut us from the history that is ours. La bandera still is rising through the decades and the hours. Brown and proud and never broken underneath the open sky. La bandera for the living and la bandera for those who die. Keeping watch above the barrio from the morning to the night. La bandera de mi gente is our testament in life. Hey, I was taught to wear the bandera like a crown upon my head by the women who came before me, by the words the elders said about the grace that comes with knowing where you come from and who gave every sacrifice to keep la bandera from the grave of forgetting and erasing what the powerful would erase if we let them take the bandera from its undefeated place above the homes where grandmothers still press the masa in their hands and the daughters learn the meaning of the flag and what it stands for. In a world that tells us we are less than what we are, la bandera is our compass and la bandera is our star, guiding us through every challenge, guiding us through every fear. La bandera de las mujeres will be flying every year. La bandera de mi gente never falls and never fades. We have carried it through darkness, through the fire and the blaze of a world that tried to cut us from the history that is ours. La bandera still is rising through the decades and the hours. Brown and proud and never broken underneath the open sky. La bandera for the living and la bandera for those who die. Keeping watch above the barrio from the morning to the night. La bandera de mi gente is our testament in life. Yeah. Every generation born into the barrio received the bandera as inheritance, the first thing we believed. Before the doubt came in from outside with his questions and his tests, la bandera was already flying proud above our chests. And the image of the people in the murals and the art and the stories of the elders carved forever in the heart of a culture that has lasted through the centuries of change, through the missions and the branches, through the pressure and the strain. La bandera is the reason that we wake up every day with the knowledge that our presence here is not a thing to say sorry for, but something ancient and enduring incorrect. La bandera de mi gente carries permanent respect para todos los que marchan y los que ya descansaron. La bandera es la promesa que jamás abandonaron. La bandera de mi gente never falls and never fades. We have carried it through darkness, through the fire and the blaze of a world that tried to cut us from the history that is ours. La bandera still is rising through the decades and the hours. Brown and proud and never broken underneath the open sky. La bandera for the living and la bandera for those who die. Keeping watch above the body from the morning to the night. La bandera de mi gente, flying forever. De mi gente. Barrio or die is everything we feel. They ask me what I live for, and I tell them every time the barrio is everything and loyalty's not a crime. It is the code that kept us standing when the rest had turned away. Barrio or die is not a slogan, it is how I live each day since I was young enough to understand the weight of what it meant to be from here and stay from here through every storm that heaven sent against this neighborhood and all the people in it trying hard to raise their kids and keep the lights on and maintain the guard of something worth defending when the whole world says move on to better opportunities and places where the past is gone. But I am not a man who leaves the people who made me who I am. Barrio or die. It's in my bones, it's in my blood, it's in my plan. For every morning that I wake up and every night I lay it down. This is my ground, this is my people, this is my permanent town. No amount of pressure changes what I know to be correct. Barrio or die is loyalty, and loyalty is self-respect. Barrio or die, that is the oath we never break. Barrio or die, barrio or die, for everything that is at stake. For the people in the streets who hold it down and never fold. Barrio or die is the most important truth we hold. O te quedas con el barrio, o te vas para siempre jamás. Barrio or die is who we are, hard and permanent and real. Barrio or die is everything we feel. I watch the ones who left for something easier somewhere come back after years of searching for a truth that wasn't there. In the comfort, in the distance of a life away from here, looking for the barrio and everything that they held dear. Cause you cannot shake the streets from your foundation when they built every single thing that you became without the compromise of guilt. But pretending that the barrio was something to escape, it is something to return to every time the world takes shape around you like a stranger. And you need to find the core of what is real and what is permanent and what is worth the more of your loyalty and presence when the easy path will lead you out. Barrio or die. It's clarity when everything is doubt. I ride with the people who were always here and always will be. Through the decades of the pressure, barrio is family. Todo lo que tengo es lo que el barrio me dio con orgullo. Barrio or die is the standard, is the rule, is my destino. Barrio or die, that is the oath we never break. Barrio or die, barrio or die, for everything that is at stake. For the people in the streets who hold it down and never fold. Barrio or die is the most important truth we hold. O te quedas con el barrio, o te vas para siempre jamás. Barrio or die is who we are, hard and permanent and real. Barrio or die is everything. Every homie who was falling for the barrio lives on in the way we speak the name of we are carrying the song of a neighborhood that does not let its memory go cold. Every story of the barrio is a story to be told with the kind of fierce devotion that the outside world misreads as something dangerous and reckless, but it answers to our needs for connection and for purpose in the world that cuts us off at every turn and tells us that our culture is not enough to merit the respect and the resources that we need to be whole and to be present in this country and to lead the lives we are entitled to as people of this earth. Barrio or die is not just pride, it is the recognition of worth of every single soul who walks these streets and claims its ground as the place where they were forged and where their purpose can be found. Hasta la muerte con el barrio que me hizo lo que soy. Barrio or die, yesterday. Barrio or die, today. Barrio or die, forever. Barrio or die, that is the oath we never break. Barrio or die, barrio or die, for everything that is at stake. For the people in the streets who hold it down and never fall. Barrio or die is the most important truth we hold. O te quedas con el barrio, o te vas para siempre jamás. Barrio or die is who we are, hard and permanent and real. Barrio or die is everything we feel. Barrio, barrio or die, no hay otra opción. Barrio forever or die trying. Barrio or die. The streets raised me. The streets raised me when nobody else was there. The streets gave me the lessons and the courage and the care that a kid from the barrio needed to become a man. The streets raised me, and I will never abandon where I am from. Before the formal education and before the structured days, I was learning on the boulevard in the old school way. Reading people, reading corners, reading what the silence said. When the neighborhood went quiet, that is when you washed ahead for the things that were approaching and the things that you would need to navigate successfully and recognize with speed that the world outside the classroom had its own curriculum. A syllabus of real life that was never going dumb on the students who were willing to sit still and pay attention to to the teachers who were walking with no formal recognition, just the wisdom of experience and the scars that went with it. The streets raised me in the knowledge that you have to stay legit. To the people who surround you and the code you hold inside, the streets gave me the backbone and the undefeated pride that my parents planted in me, but the streets confirmed it's true. The streets raised me to stand tall in everything I do. The streets raised me, and I carry every lesson in my soul. From the blocks where I was running to the boulevard patrol, of my own life and my choices and the things I had to face. The streets raised me, and I represent this neighborhood in place. Con orgullo y con respeto para el barrio que me dio everything a young man needs before the world could show me the limits of the spaces that they built for people like me. The streets raised me, and the streets set me free. I remember being hungry on the corner late at night when the vending machine was broken and the street was not quite right for a kid who had no business being out there late alone. But the streets were safer sometimes than the tension that was home, in the complicated spaces where the adults struggle hard to provide the things they promised while protecting what they scarred against the pressures of a life that left no margin for mistake. The streets were where I processed all the pressure at the stake of growing up with nothing and believing it was more than a temporary condition before walking through the door, or whatever came to greet me on the other side of youth. The streets gave me the patience and the ability to the truth. Tell myself about the distance between where I was and where I needed to arrive at with the people in my care. Las calles me enseñaron que el respeto se gana. The streets raised me with the standard that I carry every mind. The streets raised me, and I carry every lesson in my soul. From the blocks where I was running to the boulevard patrol, of my own life and my choices and the things I had to face. The streets raised me, and I represent this neighborhood in place. Con orgullo y con respeto para el barrio que me dio everything a young man needs before the world could show me the limits of the spaces that they built for people like me. The streets raised me, and the streets set me free. Now I walk these same streets with my own children by my side, showing them the murals and the history and the pride of the barrio that raised me and the barrio that'll raise the next generation through the complicated days ahead of us in a world that has not changed enough to be the place that we deserve to live in as a family. But the streets will keep on raising those who come with open hearts and the wisdom to receive what the community imparts to the elders and the young ones and the ones who went away and return with something gathered from the distance and the fray of a world that taught them what the barrio already knew about the value of the people and the things that they go through to remain a living culture in the concrete in the sun. The streets raised me, and the raising is not finished, is not done. Estas calles son mi historia, son mi sangre, mi misión. The streets raised me, and I raise the streets back with every song. The streets raised me, las calles me criaron, every lesson in my blood. They put the choice before me like they always put the choice in front of every young man who was born without a voice. In the rooms where the decisions about futures were being made, Plata or Plomo was the language that the streets paraded through the consciousness of everyone who grew up where I grew. With the silver and the lead as the only point of view, that the system in the corner but presented as the path, when the options were a function of a complicated math that did not account for everything we brought to what we faced. Just a calculation of the profit and the waste of potential in the people who were more than what they seen, when the only thing they offered was a silver or a dream that involved the permanent surrender of the sovereignty of the self to someone else's idea of what you should be. Plata, Plomo in the barrio, it's never black and white, it is every shade of morning and every shade of night. Plata or Plomo was the question, but I found a different answer. In the barrio that raised me in the code of every dancer, between the life they offer and the life I chose to take. Plata or Plomo is the pressure that the system tries to make unavoidable for people born without the safety net. Plata or Plomo is the test that we have not forgotten yet, of who we are and what we stand for. When the moment comes, Plata o plomo, no más plomo cuando el barrio se consume. Hey. I have seen the Plata blind the ones who thought they had the game under control until the moment when the consequences came crashing through the door at midnight with the flashing in the code of a system that was waiting for the ones who sold their dignity in the future for a temporary gain that left nothing but the memory and the permanent chain of a record in the shadow that will follow everywhere from the courtroom to the corner to the empty barrio stare of the ones who waited back home and were hoping they came back different from the way they left before the system took the track and redirected it to consequences no one planned when the Plata was presented by an outstretched empty hand in the body or the Plomo has a different kind of face. It is not always what you think it is and not always in the place you expect to find it waiting for the young and for the weak. Plata o plomo is the language of the body. Plata o plomo was the question but I found a different answer in the barrio that raised me in the code of every dancer. Between the life they offer and the life I chose to take. Plata o plomo is the pressure that the system tries to make unavoidable for people born without the safety net. Plata o plomo is the test that we have not forgotten yet of who we are and what we stand for when the moment comes. Plata o plomo, no más plomo cuando el barrio se consume. Hey, hey, there is a third path through the Plata in the plomo that they show, and that path runs through the people in the community we know, through the ones who made it differently and stayed to show the way that the neighborhood could offer something other than the fray of a binary, a silver and the lead that breaks the skull when the options narrow down to something dull and brutal. We are not a people limited to what the corner shows. The body was always known the way that something grows beyond the artificial choices that the outsiders impose. Plata plomo is not destiny for everyone who knows the deeper history and culture of a people with a plan that extends beyond the corner to a larger understanding of what is possible when dignity is treated as the base of every policy and program aimed at our time and place. La plata y el plomo son opciones que el sistema da, but the barrio chooses life and we will always choose la plata. Plata o plomo was the question but I found a different answer in the barrio that raised me in the code of every dancer. Between the life they offer and the life I chose to take. Plata o plomo is the pressure that the system tries to make unavoidable for people born without the safety net. Plata o plomo is the test that we have not forgotten yet of who we are and what we stand for when the moment comes. Plata o plomo, no más plomo cuando el barrio se consume. Plata o plomo, but I choose the barrio, no más plomo. La vida sobre todo plomo. In the beginning, there was the barrio, and the barrio was good. And from the barrio came the people who built the neighborhood into something worth belonging to, worth staying for and worth the psalms that they sang quietly beneath the open earth of the sky above the barrio that holds us in its gaze. Chicano Psalms are not the psalms that fill the formal halls. The power and the privilege where the marble echoes calls to a God that never seemed to walk the barrio with us, but the psalms that rose from people who had only their own trust in the culture and the language and the faith that was their own before the missions and the conversions, before the seeds were sown of a borrowed theology imported on a ship that arrived with soldiers carrying the cross upon the tip of a sword of forced conversion that reshaped what we believe. But beneath the new religion, the old psalms were still achieved in the ceremony, in the kitchen, in the calendar kept by the grandmothers who prayed in two tongues while the children slept. Chicano Psalms are hybrid, ancient, new, and always true, a convergence of the sacred that belongs to me and you, and the millions who have sung them through the centuries of change. Chicano Psalms are permanent across the entire range. Chicano Psalms, sing them in the morning, sing them in the night. Chicano Psalms carry us through darkness into light. From the altar in the kitchen to the mural on the wall, Chicano Psalms are the answer to the barrio's call. Con fe, con esperanza, The Psalms rise from below. Chicano Psalms are the language that the spirits know. From the pyramids to the pavement, from the past into today. Chicano Psalms for God our people all the way. I have heard the Psalms in different voices and in different rooms. From the veterans returning to the mothers in their wounds of grief who lost their children to the streets or to the war, or the thousand other ways the Barrio keeps the score of the ones who paid the highest price for something that was owed to every generation on the same ancestral road. Chicano Psalms are not a weakness, they are not a retreat into nostalgia or a fantasy of something incomplete. They are the living testimony of a people who survived every effort to diminish them and somehow have arrived in the 21st century with their culture still intact, with their language still alive, with the memory of the fact that this land knew our footsteps before the names were changed. Chicano Psalms are a reminder that the past is not estranged from the present that we occupy. In the future we will shape. Chicano Psalms remind us there is no permanent escape. Chicano Psalms, sing them in the morning, sing them in the night. Chicano Psalms carry us through darkness into light. From the altar in the kitchen to the mural on the wall. Chicano Psalms to the Barrio's call. Con fe, con esperanza, the Psalms rise from below. Chicano Psalms are the language that the spirits know. From the pyramids to the pavement, from the past into today. Chicano Psalms will guide our people all the way. Now I sing the Chicano Psalms for everyone who hears, not because I have the answers, but because through the years I have found that singing together makes the burden lighter still. Chicano Psalms are the medicine for every kind of ill that the body encounters in this long ongoing life. Through the poverty and the beauty, through the pleasure and the knife of a divided world that cannot see us as we are. Chicano Psalms are the compass and the constellation star that tells us who we are when we forget and where we go, when the road is not illuminated and the way is slow. Oh, psalm by psalm and verse by verse and block by block, we build the kingdom of the Barrio that cannot be fulfilled by any force that comes against it, any tide that rises high. Chicano Psalms are living long after the singers die. Estos salmos de mi gente son eternos como el mar. Chicano Psalms will carry us to wherever we are. Chicano Psalms, sing them in the morning, sing them in the night. Chicano Psalms carry us through darkness into light. Chicano Psalms, sing them forever. Con fe y orgullo. In the Barrio, two worlds, living raw. La Jura rolling through the Barrio like a cold wind in the night. With the sirens and the spotlights cutting through the dark with white. Interrogation of a neighborhood that never asked for this. Level of surveillance in the systematic hit list of every brown face on the corner after 8. When the curfew and the checkpoint and the casual debate about whether we belong here in the streets we always walk became the kind of interaction where the power always talked and the people in the body were expected to submit to a logic that was never meant for us to benefit. La Jura knows our names, but does not know our history, does not know the generations of the family tree. Planted in this body only for the uniform, was patrolling for the kinds of difference that became the norm. My father law was practiced in the places that we live. La Jura took a lot from us and had very little to give. La Jura in the Barrio is a complicated thing. It is authority and presence and the fear that it can bring to the life of anyone who lives inside these lines. La Jura in the Barrio exist in parallel designs that never quite align, no matter what the system claims. La Jura knows the corners, but La Jura does not know our names. The real names that our grandmothers called us in their prayers. La Jura rolls the boulevard, but La Jura never shares the weight of what it means to be from here and to remain. La Jura in the Barrio will never be the same. It's justice for a people who were here before the law. La Jura y el Barrio, two worlds living raw. I was 17 the first time that La Jura put me on the wall. With my hands behind my back, can make me feel incredibly small. For the crime of walking home from a friend's house after dark in the neighborhood they decided was a designated mark. For more attention and more pressure and more stops along the way. For the young men who were doing nothing more than living every day the way that any person in America should have the right to move through their own neighborhood in daylight or at night without the calculation of the badge and what it means for a kid in a red shirt and the color of his jeans and the color of his skin and the address on the block that La Jura had already classified and put on lock as a place that merited a different kind of treatment. La Jura made it clear the rights were subject to deletion based on zip code and on surname and on every other clue that the person in the uniform was not policing me and you. La Jura in the Barrio is a complicated thing. It is authority and presence and the fear that it can bring into the life of anyone who lives inside these lines. La Jura in the Barrio exist in parallel designs that never quite align, no matter what the system claims. La Jura knows the corners, but La Jura does not know our names. The real names that our grandmothers called us in their prayers. La Jura rolls the boulevard, but La Jura never shares the weight of what it means to be from here and to remain. La Jura in the Barrio will never be the same as justice for the people who were here before the law. La Jura y el Barrio, two worlds living wrong. But I am not a man who gives his whole life to the hate of every individual who wears the uniform of state. In a system that was built without our input and our voice. La Jura is the product of a society's choice to protect some lives and some addresses more than others do. And the work of changing that belongs to me and you and everyone who lives inside the barrio and knows that the history of this neighborhood is one that always grows towards something more than what the present moment shows. La Jura is a chapter in a story that still goes on beyond the current pages and the current state of things. La Jura y la justicia not the same, but justice brings the possibility of something better in its wake. And the barrio keeps fighting for the barrio's sake. La Jura conoce las calles, pero no conoce el dolor. La Jura y el barrio still waiting for something more. La Jura in the barrio is a complicated thing. It is authority and presence and the fear that it can bring into the life of anyone who lives inside these lines. La Jura in the barrio exist in parallel designs that never quite align, no matter what the system claims. La Jura knows the corners, but La Jura does not know our names. The real names that our grandmothers called us in their prayers. La Jura rolls the boulevard, but La Jura never shares the weight of what it means to be from here and to remain. La Jura in the body will never be the same. It's justice for the people who were here before the law. La Jura y el barrio, two worlds living raw. La Jura rolling, el barrio standing. La justicia pendiente. La Jura y el barrio still waiting. The blood in these veins carries the memory of every mile crossed by the ones who came before us, carrying their style of survival and resistance through the centuries to here. Blood and soil is the inheritance that makes our roots appear. They say possession is 9/10 of the law, but what about the claim that is written in the blood of those who built this before the name was changed and the territory was transferred on the map by people who had never stood where the ancestors had sat and built the fires and the families that predated everything. The newer population brought with all the songs they sing about discovery and destiny and manifest design. Blood and soil says we were here before the first surveyor's line was drawn across the consciousness of people who already knew the shape of every mountain and the color of the dew that fell on mornings older than the names we have today. For the places where our grandparents were forced to go away or stay and become foreign in the land the families kept for generations through the seasons while the empire slept. Blood and soil is not a theory, it is not a metaphor. Blood and soil is the answer to the question at the core. Blood and soil, we are rooted and we are not going anywhere. Blood and soil in the barrio and in the open air of the California morning that was always ours before. Blood and soil is the title we have been fighting for. La sangre y la tierra son la prueba de que estamos aquí. Blood and soil connecting you and me to every ancestor who walked this ground before us here. Blood and soil in the barrio, through every passing year. I learned about the blood and soil from my grandmother's hands, pressing mas into tortillas in the morning as she stands in the kitchen that she built from nothing in the Barrio, where she arrived with nothing more than her family and the prayer that the soil of this new country will receive her and the blood and return something worth having through the labor and the mud of the fields where she worked first before the Barrio took her in. And the soil of California became the soil of kin of a community that recognized her in the face as belonging to a long line stretching back through time and space, to a land that shared its DNA with everything she knew. Blood and soil is the story of the women who came through every obstacle and carried the tradition in their chest. Blood and soil for the daughters of the East and of the West. Blood and soil, we are rooted and we are not going anywhere. Blood and soil in the Barrio and in the open air of the California morning that was always ours before. Blood and soil is the title we have been fighting for. La sangre y la tierra son la prueba de que estamos aquí. Blood and soil connecting you and me to every ancestor who walked this ground before us here. Blood and soil in the Barrio to every passing year. Now the soil has changed its surface, but the blood has not changed its truth. The blood of the Barrio runs in every person, from the youth to the elders, sitting quiet on the porch at evening time, watching over something precious and reminding us the rhyme of generations is not broken just because the time moves on. The blood remembers every season, and the blood carries the song of the ones who planted gardens in the cracks of the concrete and grew something worth the effort in the heat of the summer street. Blood and soil in the Barrio is everywhere you look, in the colors of the morning and the faces in the nook of every market corner where the old men play their games and the grandmothers call greetings using everyone's old names. This is what the blood and soil means when it is lived, not claimed by a politics of power that has always been ashamed de la sangre que nos corre y la tierra que pisamos. Blood and soil are the proof of everything we are. Blood and soil, we are rooted and we are not going anywhere. Blood and soil in the Barrio and in the open air of the California morning that was always ours before. Blood and soil is the title we have been fighting for. Blood and soil, la sangre y la tierra, rooted forever.
Roll the windows down and let the evening air come in. Eastside. Roll the windows down and let the evening air come in. Eastside Ride through the boulevard where it all begins. The chrome catching sunset like the hydraulics said just right. Eastside Ride is the ceremony of the night. Eastside Ride slow and easy down the boulevard. Eastside Ride where the memories and the visions guard everything we built here, everything we left behind. Eastside Ride on the west side of your mind. The Lowrider is a museum on wheels, rolling through the art of a community that chose to make its vehicles a heart of cultural expression. When the galleries were closed, when the museums had no interest in the stories that we wrote with chrome and with upholstery and with pink that had to match the color of our ambitions. And the neighborhood dispatch is something beautiful emerging from the circumstance of poverty and creativity that always found romance in the objects that surrounded us and could be made to shine with enough attention and the willingness to take the time to love the thing you're working on as if it was your own. So be important to the metal and the chrome. Eastside Ride is not just transportation, it is prayer. Rolling through the streets we came from with the evening air, filling up the lungs with something worth the breathing here. Eastside Ride through the Barrio that we hold dear.
Ride slow and easy down the boulevard.
Eastside,
Eastside Ride where the memories and the visions guard everything we built here, everything we left behind.
Eastside.
Eastside
con amor por las calles de mi hogar. Eastside Ride is the language of the lowrider star that rises every evening when the sun goes down below. Eastside Ride through the barrio in the amber glow. I have driven through the decades in the cars that were my youth. The cruiser with the bench seat and the radio and truth of oldies playing through the speakers while the neighborhood came alive on summer evenings the way neighborhoods should. With the families on the porches and the kids playing in the street, and the elders calling orders and the sounds of every beat of a culture that was living in the fullness of its power. When the lowrider parade came through to celebrate the hour of his own existence in the world that often tried to diminish what we carried and extinguish our pride. The Eastside Ride was always more than just a car going slow. It was statement and identity and putting on a show of what it means to come from something that you carry everywhere. Not as a burden, but as beauty in the open air of a California evening when the temperature is right for the Eastside Ride to teach you what it means to feel the night.
Slow and easy down the boulevard.
Eastside,
Eastside Ride, where the memories and the visions guard. Everything we built here, everything we left behind.
Eastside,
Eastside Ride, on the west side of your mind.
con orgullo y con amor por las calles de mi hogar. Eastside Ride is the language of the lowrider star
that rises every evening when the sun goes down below.
Eastside
Ride through the barrio in the amber.
Now the boulevard has changed, but the spirit has not changed. The way we mark our territory has been rearranged by the decades and the pressure, but the core remains the same. Eastside Ride through the history that carries our name into whatever future comes to meet us in the road. With the chrome still catching sunlight and the hydraulics emotive celebration for the ones who never got to see the next generation rolling through the streets as free as they deserve to be. When they were building something real from nothing but the love they had and everything they feel for a place that has so much and offered what it could. Eastside Ride through the Barrio the way it always would. Las calles de mi vida son eternas como el mar.
Eastside Ride
It's forever.
it will always go this far. Eastside Ride,
Rolling slow.
chrome gleaming.
Roll para siempre.
Eastside Ride.
There is a photograph. There is a photograph I keep inside the drawer beside my bed of two young men who swore they would be brothers till they're dead, standing in the backyard of the house we grew up in. Before the years that changed us and the choices that begin, when the paths diverge and some roads lead to different ends, and the story of two brothers who were first and always friends becomes complicated by the things the world puts in between. The people that we love the most and what those precious mean. For the loyalty we pledged each other back when we were young, before we understood the weight of every oath that's sung between two people who believe they will not be apart. Me, Hermano, you were always in the center of my heart. And even when the distance and the years made silence grow, between the phone calls and the visits, I want you to know that everything we built together stands the test of time. Me, Hermano, you were always in the rhythm of my rhyme. Mi hermano, through the fire and the rain. Mi hermano, in the sunshine and the pain. We come from the same corner in the same barrio street. Mi hermano, our connection cannot be made incomplete by anything this world can throw between us as we grow. Mi hermano is the word that lets the whole world know that blood is not the only tie that makes two people one. Mi hermano, till the final day beneath this blazing sun. I remember when you took the hit that should have been for me, when the situation called for someone to take the lead, and you stepped forward without hesitation for the code that said a real one never lets his brother carry all the load alone. When there was shoulders strong enough to take the share. Me, hermano, that is what you showed me. You were always there in the moments that define what kind of men we would become, when the choices narrowed down to none or one, and you chose the harder path, the one that cost you more than anyone could measure. From the outside of that door that closed behind you on the day the system took you win, to teach you about power and the places power has been. In the lives of men like us who came from where we came. Hermano, you came out of that still carrying the flame of everything we stand for in the body where we're from. Mi hermano, you were still the greatest homie I have known.
Mi hermano, through the fire and the rain. Mi hermano, in the sunshine and the pain.
We come from the same corner, in the same barrio street.
Mi hermano,
our connection cannot be made incomplete by anything this world can throw between us as we grow.
Mi hermano
is the word that lets the whole world know that blood is not the only tie that makes two people one.
Mi hermano, till the final day, beneath this blazing sun.
Now we walk our separate roads that lead back to the same community that raised us in the place that holds our name. In its memory and in its murals and in everything it keeps alive for the generations while the rest of history sleeps. Through the changes that have come upon the body we share. Mi hermano, I have never stopped from knowing that you cared about the same things that I carry and the same things that I love about the culture and the people in the body above all other places in the world that claim to be my home. Mi hermano, you are with me everywhere I roam. En las calles que caminamos y en los sueños que tenemos. Mi hermano, somos uno en todo lo que hacemos. And the children and the mothers and the fathers who remain in the barrio that holds us through the sunshine and the rain. Mi hermano is the promise that the best of who we are will outlive every struggle and will outlast every scar. Mi hermano, brother forever. El barrio nos unió para siempre.
Chola love is not what they imagine from the outside looking in. Chola love is something deeper than the surface where they begin. Many assumptions and their judgments about who you are and what you represent when you walk through the door and the world is shut. Out of all the things they thought they understood about your life, Chola love is something real, and it cuts just like a knife. Through the distance and the doubt and all the years that came between, Chola love, the realest love that I have ever seen. I have seen her in the morning with the hair still coming down, over the liner and the lipstick and the loyalty of crown and feather that she wears as if the world deserves to see the full expression of a woman who is proud to be exactly who she is and where she comes from, and the place that shaped the way she carries herself and the way she holds space for everyone around her who needs something she can give. Chola love is how she taught me how to live with the same intensity that she brings to everything, from the kitchen and the garden and the way the children sing their names through the neighborhood that knows her as the one who holds it all together under the California sun. She is not a stereotype, she is not a magazine, she is the whole reality of everything between the lines that others draw around the world they think they see. Chola love, the realest woman ever known to me. Many say we wear our hearts outside where everyone can see, but what they miss is that the armor keeps the wounds from getting free into a world that never asked about the price we pay for being visible and proud in a complicated way. That does not fit the narrative they wanna tell about the girls who grew up in the barrio without a doubt that we belong here and we earn the right to represent the culture and the history and everything it meant to come from families who survived and still survive and carry something beautiful through everything they tried to take from us. Chola love is not a look, it is a vow to honor every grandmother who showed us how to stand in beauty and in strength and in the knowledge that we are the continuation of something older than all that. Chola love is our inheritance, our dignity, our flag. Chola love is everything inside this barrio bag. Chola love is real, love is strong, love is here. Chola love has carried us through every year of the barrio rising and the barrio standing tall. farthest star. Now we walk together through a neighborhood that changed, but the loyalty between us has never been estranged from the version of itself that formed when we were young. And the promises we made each other still are sung in the way that we show up for one another every day. Chola love is not a feeling, it is what we say, with our actions and our presence and the things we choose to put before ourselves when someone else could lose everything without a hand that pulls them back from edge. Chola love is what we offer and the solemn pledge that the Barrio will never leave his people out alone. Chola love is how we carry everyone back home. Con el corazón abierto y las manos preparadas. Chola love is all the things we give and never traded. Chola love is real, love is strong, love is here. Chola love has carried us through every year. Chola love, Barrio love, para siempre amor.
Sin miedo en el barrio. Sin miedo in this place. Sin miedo in the barrio. Rolling through the night. Sin miedo when the darkness comes, we carry on light. Yeah. Sin miedo is the anthem of the ones who never ran. Sin miedo is the culture and the code of every man who learned that fear is something that you feel and then you face. Sin miedo in the barrio. Sin miedo in this place. They built the fear into the architecture of the city, into every policy and structure that is not pretty. When you look at it from where we stand on the outside, at the rooms where decisions are made about our lives, the fear they manufacture was supposed to keep us small, to keep us in the corners and to keep us from the heart. A power where they gather to devour what we created through the labor of the generations, underrated. But sin miedo means we saw the game and we kept playing. Sin miedo means we heard the note and we kept saying yes to everything and we deserve to have it more. Sin miedo is the password at the barrio's door. It is not recklessness or arrogance or ignorance or risk. It is the knowledge that the fearful life is something that you miss. Everything worth having when you let the fear define the boundaries of your actions and the limits of your shine. Sin miedo in the barrio is wisdom, not just heart. Sin miedo is the science and the culture and the art of recognizing what is truly dangerous and what is manufactured to control the minds of those who cut through the nonsense with the clarity that comes from knowing who they are and what they worth and what this body always do. Sin miedo forward through the noise and through the doubt. Sin miedo is the answer every time the fear comes out, to test the strength of everything we built and everything we are. Sin miedo in the barrio, from the corner to the star, that marks the constellation of our history and pride. Sin miedo, riding through the east side on this ride, la gente del barrio con el pecho levantado. Sin miedo is the song of everyone who made it. I have watched the fear try to break the ones who had the most, to give to the community before they gave up the ghost of what they could have been if not for everything that pressed against their shoulders when they only asked for what was best for the neighborhood they came from and the people they had known and the children they were raising who would carry what was sown into the fabric of the barrio through their own bodies and time. Sin miedo means we still believe that there is reason and rhyme to the struggle and the sacrifice that shaped the ones before us and the ones who come behind us who will carry what is for us to deliver in the form of an example and the code that says the barrio has always had the strength to hold the load of generations and the weight of all the world put on the shoulders of the people who were here before the dawn of whatever age we're living in. Sin miedo is the song. Sin miedo is the proof that we have always been this strong in the face of everything that tried to make us weak and small. Sin miedo is the barrio, and the barrio stands tall. Sin miedo forward through the noise and through the doubt. Sin miedo is the answer every time the fear comes out, to test the strength of everything we built and everything we are. Sin miedo in the barrio, from the corner to the start, that marks the constellation of our history and pride. Sin miedo, riding through the east side on this ride, la gente del barrio con el pecho levantado. Sin miedo is the song of everyone who made it. So when they come with all the pressure and the institutional weight of a system that was never designed to make us great, we stand with sin miedo in our chest and in our voices, refusing to be limited by someone else's choices about what we deserve and what our future has to be. Sin miedo was the declaration that we will be free on our own terms and in the fullness of our history and name. Sin miedo in the Barrio, the story never the same as what they write about us in the places far away. Sin miedo is what we are, living every single day. Y el barrio dice, sin miedo, con todo el corazón. Sin miedo is forever, it is our only song. Sin miedo forward, through the noise and through the doubt. Sin miedo is the answer, every time the fear comes out. Sin miedo, the barrio rises, fearless forever. Sin miedo.
Yeah. The sun is set, but the body was just waking up. The street lights and the music and the Lowrider cup of something worth the evening when the air turns cool and right. La Noche Es Joven and we are going to own the night. La Noche Es Joven. The night is still young, and all the songs we are about to hear have not been sung. The boulevard is calling and the stars are coming out. La Noche Es Joven. Roll the windows down and shout. There is a magic in the evening of the California air, when the temperature drops just enough to make you feel aware of every sense you have and every person that you love. When the night is spreading out like a velvet glove over everything the daytime had us rushing through. La Noche Es Joven, everything is new. Under the cover of the darkness where we come alive, in the way that only happens when the day cannot survive. It's all momentum in the stillness of the night, replaces all the noise with something warm and right. I take your hand and lead you through the boulevard. La Noche Es Joven, we do not have to go hard. Tonight we slow it down to something smooth and real. La Noche Es Joven, tell me how you feel in the open air with the Lowrider rolling by. La Noche Es Joven, underneath the same night sky. La Noche Es Joven, roll the windows down and breathe. La Noche Es Joven, there is nothing up my sleeve but the simple fact that we are here together in the night. La Noche Es Joven, and everything is right. For a moment in the memory that we can carry far. La Noche Es Joven, underneath the evening star. El barrio y la luna y las calles que amamos. La Noche Es Joven. Yeah. Y esta noche nos queda. Later in the evening when the older ones go in, and the boulevard belongs to all the ones who begin the second part of the night that is entirely our own. The music from the speakers finding everyone at home, and the feeling of the evening that we earned through the day. La Noche Es Joven. We are only halfway through the hours of the night that still have things to give to the ones who know that this is how we live, in the fullness of the moment that the body provides. When the walls come down and everyone resides in the same beautiful space of being here together now. La Noche Es Joven, everything allowed when the music and the people in the boulevard align. Para los que vivimos sin prisa, sonrisa divine. La Noche Es Joven, roll the windows down and breathe. La Noche Es Joven, there is nothing up my sleeve but the simple fact that we are here together in the night. La Noche Es Joven, and everything is right. For a moment in the memory that we can carry far. La Noche Es Joven, underneath the evening star. El barrio y la luna y las calles que amamos. La Noche Es Joven. Yeah. Y esta noche nos. The oldies coming through the radio
one filling up the space between the generations as we recognize each face. In the crowd of familiar strangers who all know the same songs in the same corners and the stories in the name of every place that matters in the body we share.
La Noche Es Joven.
And the music fills the air with something older than ourselves, and something that will stay long after this particular night has passed away, into the memory of everything we were together here.
La Noche Es Joven.
Then is the feeling that the year cannot diminish in the hearts of those who know that the Barrio at night is where we truly glow, in the fullness of our culture and the warmth of who we are.
La Noche Es Joven.
Is the light of every star that rises over the boulevard and tells us we belong.
La Noche Es Joven.
Every evening is our song.
La Noche Es Joven, roll the windows down and breathe. La Noche Es Joven. There is nothing up my sleeve but the simple fact that we are here together in the night. La Noche Es Joven. And everything is right. La Noche Es Joven.
Still rolling, El Barrio alive, tonight, forever, forever. In the barrio there are soldiers of a different kind, who carry weapons made of prayer and of a focused mind, that sees beyond the surface of the daily grind, and finds a reason to be grateful for the gifts assigned to a life that could have gone a different way. When the forces of the darkness came around to play the games with the hearts of the ones who were young, before the spirit gave them armor in a different tongue to speak within the moments when the world grew dark. Soldado de Dios was how my grandmother marked the photograph above the altar in the kitchen, where we gathered every morning for the candle and the prayer that started every day with gratitude and with the sense that we were not alone in all of this immense complexity of living in a world that did not always show the face of God to people who were given only low expectations in the walls around their neighborhood. Soldado de Dios finds beauty in the understood tradition of the faith that was our people's shield for generations, in the fields and in the sealed places where the pressure of the world would close around. Soldado de Dios still stands on holy ground. Soldado de Dios, fighting with a prayer. Soldado de Dios, finding God is everywhere, in the barrio that raised us, in the family that holds. Soldado de Dios, carrying the stories that he told, the ones before him on the same ancestral path. Soldado de Dios, finding peace beyond the wrath of a world that never understood the faith that keeps us strong. Soldado de Dios has known the truth all along. I became a soldado de Dios, not in the church, but in the moment when the searchlight of the hurt of everything I witnessed pressed against the wall of what I thought I knew, until I heard the call of something deeper than the anger and the fear. Soldado de Dios means you finally hear the voice that has been waiting underneath the noise of the world that steals the children of the barrio boys and tries to make them soldiers for a different cause, one that has no mercy and respects no laws, of love or of community or of the sacred trust between the living and the dead who gave their lives to us as an inheritance of strength and of the willingness to stand for something beyond profit. Soldado understands that the real battle is internal, and the real enemy is the one that tells you that you will never be more than what the system says you are allowed to be. Soldado de Dios was born to set the barrio free. Soldado de Dios, fighting with a prayer. Soldado de Dios, finding God is everywhere, in the barrio that raised us, in the family that holds. Soldado de Dios, carrying the stories that he told, the ones before him on the same ancestral path. Soldado I walk with the conviction of a man who has been shown something in the spirit that the flesh has never known. On its own without the grace that comes from something more than the visible world. Soldado keeps the score of blessings, not of grievances, and of the gratitude that comes from understanding in the deeper attitude that every day alive is a miracle and a gift. Soldado de Dios gives the Barrio a lift through the living of a life that shows the others how to carry something sacred in the difficult vow of being human in a world that makes it hard. Soldado de Dios is always on his guard, con la fe de mis abuelos y el amor de Dios. Soldado de Dios is standing for us all. Soldado de Dios, standing strong, con fe y orgullo para siempre.
Yeah. La raza. Hey. La raza. La raza rising. Yeah. La raza rising from the east to the west. La raza carrying the culture and the best of everything our people built through centuries of fight. La raza is the future and la raza is the right to stand in the full dignity of who we are and where. La raza comes from no one can take la raza from the air. When they say the word, they mean to limit and contain the definition of a people to a political refrain. But when we say la raza, we mean something larger still than any single definition or a policy or bill that tries to tell us who we are and what we represent. La raza is the living proof of where the centuries were spent building civilizations in the Americas before the ships arrived with soldiers to begin the centuries of war against our people, our land, and our right to be alive. La raza is the testimony that we still survive. Every effort to diminish, every attempt to erase the memory and culture of this brown and ancient face that stares back from the murals in the faces of the young. La raza is the song that has eternally been sung by every generation that refused to disappear. La raza is the reason why we're still together here in the barrio, in the classroom, in the fields, and in the street. La raza is the heartbeat of a people incomplete without the recognition of the fullness of our place in the history of this continent. La raza takes us. La raza in the morning and la raza in the night. La raza is the culture and la raza is the right to exist and to be honored and to hold our history near. La raza from the boulevard, la raza has no fear of anything that comes to test the strength of who we are. La raza from the east side to the bright California star, con el orgullo de los siglos y la fuerza que tenemos. La raza somos todos y la raza siempre vemos our reflection in each other and the ancestors we hold. La raza is the story that will never be too old. I have heard the word misused and I have heard it understood. I have heard the word diminished in the places where it should have been honored and respected as the living history of a people who survive and who continue to be free in the ways that matter most. When freedom is defined by the ability to carry your own culture in your mind, in your heart, and in your body, and to pass it to the next generation without apology and without the vex. Feeling the performing for an audience that wants to see us sanitized and simplified amount of the actual complexity and richness of the real thing that la raza is, and la raza is the seal of authenticity on everything this culture builds. La raza is the promise that the future always fills with more of what the past created and the present holds. La raza is the story that is never fully told in a single album or a single generation work. La raza is the depth that lives beneath the surface of the search for something permanent in a world that changes every day. La raza is the constant through the changes in the fresh. La raza in the morning and la raza in the night. La raza is the culture and la raza is the right to exist and to be honored and to hold our history near. La raza from the boulevard, la raza has no fear of anything that comes to test the strength of who we are. La raza from the east side to the bright California star, con el orgullo de los siglos y la fuerza que tenemos. La raza somos todos y la raza siempre vemos our reflection in each other and the ancestors we hold. La raza is the story that will never be too old.
So when you see us in the boulevard, and in the grocery store, and in the courthouse, in the classroom, and the hospital floor, and in the boardroom, and the barrio, and everywhere between, La Raza is the fullness of the spectrum that we mean. When we say we are the people of this land and of this place, La Raza is not color, it is culture, it is grace, it is the dignity of knowing what your people gave to build this country that still treats us like we are the slave of someone else's narrative. What La Raza knows, the truth, and La Raza lets the whole world know. Y La Raza dice aquí estamos y aquí nos quedamos. La Raza dice el futuro es nuestro, lo tomamos. For every child born into the barrio who deserves to see themselves in history, La Raza always serves the purpose of the mirror and the map in the song. La Raza is the proof that we have always belonged. La Raza in the morning and La Raza in the night. La Raza is the culture and La Raza is the right. La Raza siempre en pie. The culture lives. La Raza forever.
The barrio gave us boots strong enough to walk through everything that shoots against our progress and our purpose and our place. El Camino is the journey and the destination we embrace. I did not choose the starting point of my particular life. I did not choose the neighborhood, the poverty or strife that came with being born to parents who were doing their best with what the world had given them in the east and in the west of a city that divided its resources long ago along the lines of who deserved to see which things grow in the soil of their communities. El Camino was not fair for everyone who started out, but I learned to be aware that the unfairness of the starting point did not define the possibility of where my own road in might shine if I walked it with intention and with everything I learned from the bottle that raised me and the wisdom that I earned through the living of a life that asked more than it gave in the early years before the later chapters of the brave journey that begins when you decide to walk your own. El Camino is the path you make when you have grown. El Camino is the road that we walk every day. El Camino is the faith that keeps us on the way through the valleys and the mountains and the turns we could not see. El Camino leads us all to who we meant to be. Con cada paso que damos, vamos más adelante. El Camino is the life, and we are all the travelers, moving through the seasons of the years we have been given. El Camino is the proof that we are truly living. I learned about El Camino from the women in my family who walked the roads without a map and did it beautifully. Through the obstacles that history put in their path, through the generations carrying love and not just wrath. That a world that tried to stop them, my abuela showed me how to walk El Camino, carrying the full load of being woman and being brown and being the one who holds the family together underneath the sun and under moon and through the seasons of the year. El Camino taught me everything I need to hear when the road gets difficult and the destination seems too far away. My ancestors remind me that the dreams of those who came before me were not smaller than my own. El Camino is the proof that we were never here alone. Now walk El Camino for the daughters not yet born, who will carry what we gave them in the early morn of their own journey through a world we helped to shape. El Camino is the love from which we never can escape. El Camino is the road that we walk every day. El Camino is the road. El Camino is the faith that keeps us on the way through the valleys and the mountains and the turns we could not see. El Camino leads us all. El Camino leads us all to who we meant to be. Con cada paso que damos, vamos más adelante. El Camino is the life, and we are all the travelers, moving through the seasons of the years we have been given. El Camino is the proof that we are truly living. The Barrio was my first teacher in the art of carrying on. But the reasons to give up outnumber reasons to be strong. El Camino through the Barrio is never just geography. It is the accumulated weight of every family that decided this was home and built their lives inside these streets. El Camino, running deep with pride of people who invested everything they had into a place that gave them back more good than bad. If you count the ways that community sustains the human heart through all the losses and the pains of living in a world not always built for those like us. El Camino is the faith and the abiding trust that something worth arriving at is waiting at the end of every difficult decision and every curve and bend in the road that winds through seasons we have not yet seen. El Camino is the beautiful and everything between. El Camino is the road that we walk every day. El Camino is the road. El Camino is the faith that keeps us on the way through the valleys and the mountains and the turns we could not see. El Camino leads us all. El Camino leads us all to who we meant to be. Con cada paso que damos, vamos más adelante. El Camino is the life, and we are all the travelers. El Camino, the road continues. Seguimos caminando together always.
Before the end, there is a moment when you understand that everything you built was worth the building in the hand. You played was worth the table and the stakes you chose to raise. Eastside para siempre, for the rest of all your days. Eastside para siempre, till the final song is sung. Eastside para siempre, for the old and for the young, who carry what we gave them in the barrio we made. Eastside para siempre is the vow that never fades.
I have said goodbye to places that I thought would always be the landmarks of the barrio that raised and shaped and freed me from the limitations that the world tried to impose on the size of what I dreamed and the limit of what grows from a person with my background and my zip code and my name. Eastside para siempre means the love is not the same as nostalgia or attachment to a fixed and frozen past. Eastside para siempre means the real things always last through the changes and the demolitions and the buildings new that rise where the old ones through. Eastside will come through in the faces of the people who still walk these same streets, in the food and in the music and the way the barrio greets its own returning children with the recognition of something permanent beneath the surface. Eastside love is not dependent on the buildings or the borders or the lines. Eastside para siempre lives in everything that shines, from the culture we created and the stories that we tell. Eastside para siempre is the sound of our farewell and our welcome and our daily covenant with who we chose to be in the barrio.
Eastside, I love you.
Eastside para siempre,
In the morning and the night,
Eastside para siempre.
when the darkness and the light trade places in the boulevard we have walked 1,000 times.
Eastside para siempre.
In the rhythms and the rhymes of the music that we made here.
And the culture that we kept,
Eastside para siempre.
while the rest of the world slept.
To the beauty we will build en el orgullo que tenemos.
Eastside para siempre.
Y para siempre aquí estamos.
The album that we made here is a document, the truth about the barrio that raised us, and the living and the proof that we were hearing that we mattered and we built something real with nothing but the culture and the time and the deal we made with each other to be present and to stand for the barrio in everything we do. Eastside, this land is our inheritance and our responsibility to leave in better shape than what we found.
Eastside para siempre, sí.
In the faces of the children, what we work so hard to give.
Eastside para siempre.
Is the reason that we live beyond a single life to something larger and more true.
Eastside para siempre.
It's my love letter to you y a todos los que estuvieron.
Y a todos los que están.
Eastside para siempre.
Somos parte del gran plan.
Eastside para siempre.
In the morning and the night.
Eastside para siempre.
When the darkness and the light trade places in the boulevard we have walked 1,000 times.
Eastside para siempre.
In the rhythms and the rhymes of the music that we made here.
culture that we kept.
Eastside para siempre.
While the rest of the world slept.
To the beauty we were building, el orgullo que tenemos.
Eastside para siempre.
Y para siempre aquí estamos.
For the ones who will come after us and find these same streets alive with the same spirit and the culture that still beats in the heart of every person who was raised in this place here.
Eastside,
Para siempre, through the decades and the years.
Eastside,
Para siempre.
the barrio eternal.